So the Jacksonville Jaguars have released their 53-man roster for the 2022 season. The Jaguars have also picked up 5 players off of the waiver wire after they had first priority there on the waiver wire. So like I did with my prediction video, I'm going to be doing the same thing here. I'm going to start on the offensive side of the ball, start on the defensive side of the ball, and then we'll kind of wrap it up talking about really the 5 players that the Jaguars signed off of the waiver wire. So let's get right into today's video. So the only 2 Jaguar quarterbacks to make the roster were quarterback Trevor Lawrence and backup CJ Beathard. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence and CJ Beathard, in my eyes, were a lock, and that shouldn't really come as a surprise to anybody. Kyle Slaughter played well in that last preseason game, and Jake Luton looked absolutely horrendous out there. I didn't expect those 2 guys to make the final roster cut, so I don't really need to get much into that. At the running back position, the Jaguars kept 3 running backs with James Robinson, Travis Etienne, and running back Snoop Conner, rookie out of Ole Miss. And a lot of Jaguar fans were a little bit unhappy with the level of production that Snoop Conner had in the preseason. I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. He showed some flashes in his ability, but also he did struggle at times, really showing that he is a rookie in the NFL. But also, I'm going to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. He was running behind a 2nd and 3rd string offensive lineman, and a lot of these guys didn't even make the roster. Snoop Conner, I think, is going to be a nice depth piece there for the Jaguars, and I don't mind this pick at all. Jaguars get a nice solid foundation and a good trio at the running back position with those 3 guys. Now moving into the wide receiver room, the Jaguars currently have 7 wide receivers on the roster, with wide receiver Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones Jr., Zay Jones, Tim Jones, Jamal Agnew. All my homies love Jamal Agnew. Kendrick Pryor and Willie Johnson, who's currently on IR right now too. Willie Johnson showed a lot of explosiveness on special teams, and he's going to be a great depth piece, and he's going to really contribute on that side of the ball. Tim Jones, man, can't say enough about you. This man balled out during training camp, and he showed exactly what he can be, and he was ultimately the reason why the Jaguars were feeling comfortable about trading away Laviska Shenault and letting go of Laquan Treadwell. If you want to hear my thoughts on those 2 receivers, Laquan and both Laviska Shenault, I already talked about them, but I will link to them in a video up above. But Tim Jones, I'm very happy for you, man. Welcome to Jacksonville. You deserved it all. And then with a guy like Kendrick Pryor, the Jaguars just picked him up off the waiver wire, so I'll talk about him a little bit later on in the video. But the rest of these guys were a lock, man, and I'm super excited to see what kind of explosive element a guy like Jamal Agnew can also bring to this offense alongside a guy like Travis Etienne. Both of these guys have home run hit ability. Then moving into the tight end room, the Jaguars kept 4 tight ends on roster. All of these guys I knew and expected to make the roster, with guys like Dan Arnold, Evan Ingram, Chris Manhertz, and Luke Farrell. All of these guys have different skill sets, and I think Luke Farrell definitely is going to be a guy that hopefully can progress, because you know that a guy like Evan Ingram and Dan Arnold are on the last year of their contract. It's not a guarantee that the Jaguars sign them long term, so hopefully Luke Farrell can make a nice step up, but we'll see how the Jaguars do with the tight end position this season. I trust that they're going to do significantly well, considering the fact that Doug Peterson and his philosophy is very offensively centric around tight ends. Now moving into the offensive linemen, the Jaguars kept Cam Robinson, Tyler Shatley, Luke Fortner, Brandon Scherf, Jawan Taylor, Cole Van Lanen, who we just acquired from the Green Bay Packers in that trade, Ben Barch, and Walker Little as well too. Now, if you know me and you've known what I've been saying throughout the preseason and training camp, I've said that Jawan Taylor in a contract year should be the right tackle for the Jaguars moving forward. As of right now, I think he's earned that spot, and I think that he significantly outplayed Walker Little. Let Walker Little continue to develop, and hopefully he can turn into a guy that maybe long-term could be a left or right tackle for the Jaguars moving forward, even with Cam Robinson on an extension contract. Let Jawan Taylor play this year out, and I do think that this is his job to lose. Walker Little, I'm comfortable with being that swing tackle in case someone goes down, knock on wood. But the Jaguars, I like what they did on the offensive line, and I think that they kept a lot of good guys. I kind of wish that they were able to keep Will Richardson Jr. I think he was a nice, solid depth piece there as well too. But you know, it's a business and you got to move forward. Now transitioning to the defensive side of the ball, let's go with the defensive line. The Jaguars kept Falorandu Fadukasi, Adam Gotsitz, Devon Hamilton, Roy Robertson Harris, Dewan Smoot, and Arden Key. None of those guys come as a surprise to me making the roster. All of these guys, rightfully so, deserve to make this roster. Arden Key has balled out during the preseason so far, and he's looked like a veteran who's held a lot of guys and the young guys accountable, and he's just a very good veteran presence that you want in the locker room. Dewan Smoot's another great guy, homegrown guy here in Jacksonville, and I've met him on a multitude of occasions. He's a great dude, and I think that Dewan Smoot's going to really have a breakout year. He said he's playing a totally different role and a totally different scheme, and I expect a big leap from a guy like Dawuane Smoot. I expect him to have 6.5+ sacks this season. I think he's going to be a great, solid rotational piece, but it definitely comes as a surprise because you don't see the name Jay Tufele here alongside Devon Hamilton. I believe that the reason that the Jaguars were able to let go of Malcolm Brown just a couple of weeks ago was because they trusted the fact that Devon Hamilton and Jay Tufele can now flourish as the young guys at that nose tackle position. I guess Tufele just didn't do enough for the Jaguars, and now they're just left with Devon Hamilton right there at the defensive tackle position. Into the linebacker position, the Jacksonville Jaguars kept Josh Allen, the better Josh Allen, #1 overall pick Trayvon Walker, Devin Lloyd, the future defensive rookie of the year, Foyesade Oluokun, Deshaun Dixon, Shaquille Quarterman, Chad Muma, Kayvon Chaisson, Jordan Smith, who I believe is on IR after that season-ending injury, and currently they have Ty Summers there as well too. The Jaguars linebacker core might be the biggest strength to this team. Personally, I think it's the defensive line with the rotations and how much depth there is there too, but there's a whole lot of potential and a whole lot of dogs on that Jaguars defense in terms of that linebacker core in that position. I expect a big season from Josh Allen. I expect a lot of good things out of Trayvon Walker, who's going to help alleviate a lot of pressure off of a guy like Josh Allen. And then you look in the inside linebacker position at the Mike and Will, Chad Muma and Devin Lloyd, both of these rookies. It's going to take some time for them to really get used to the NFL speed. You'll see some rookie bumps, but these guys I think have a high ceiling. And then obviously Foyesade Oluokun, a guy coming over from the Atlanta Falcons last season, led the NFL in tackles last year, 192 tackles. He's proven to be a great veteran presence in the locker room, really helping to groom guys like Chad Muma and Devin Lloyd as well too. Shaq Quarterman's going to be a guy to contribute on special teams. I really like the guys that the Jaguars kept here, and I know Kayvon Chaisson is a guy that a lot of Jaguar fans are on the fence with, but I think if he can find a defined role in this defense, not being, you know, a #1, 2, or 3 player, even though he hasn't lived up to being a first-round pick, hopefully he can make some level of impact and production for the Jaguars, even if he's not getting double-digit sacks. I just want to see what he's able to do, and hopefully the Jaguars can find somewhere for him to be valuable and make an impact on this defense. Now moving into the secondary, the Jacksonville Jaguars kept Darius Williams, Rayshawn Jenkins, Andre Sisco, Shaquille Griffin, Tyson Campbell, Andrew Wingard, which I'm actually kind of happy that the Jaguars kept Wingard. I predicted he would because he's a great guy on special teams. Daniel Thomas, Chris Claybrooks, Trey Herndon, Tyree Gillespie, I can't recall how to say his name properly. He's one of the guys we signed off the waiver wire. And 7th round pick out of Arkansas, Monteric, aka Buster Brown. A lot of these guys I expected to make the roster, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that the Jaguars did not keep one Gregory Jr. or Xavier Crawford. I thought that the Jaguars would maybe keep one of these guys too, but I knew Monteric Brown was definitely going to make this roster, and I'm happy for Buster Brown. And I think Buster Brown, I'm super happy for him. I think he's a guy who really has a high ceiling, and I'm surprised he fell to the 7th round in the draft after leading the SEC in interceptions last year too. He's got a nice frame and size to him. It's going to take him some time to get used to the NFL game, considering the fact that the Jaguars also have a lot of great talent there in the secondary as well. But I think that if he gets some snaps and when he gets his opportunities, I think he can make the most of them. The Jaguars have a very good, solid secondary as well too. The safety position is still technically a question mark with guys like Daniel Thomas, Andrew Wingard, Rayshawn Jenkins, and Andre Sisco. I want to see how the Jaguars continue to build on that, and I want to see who the Jaguars will put out there week 1. I expect it to be Andre Sisco and Rayshawn Jenkins. But overall, I'm really happy with the defense. Let's finish up with the special teams. Moving into the special teams, the Jaguars just signed off the waiver wire Riley Patterson, kicker from the Lions. He made 13 out of 14 last season. He didn't make a single kick over 50 yards. He only had 1 attempt, but he was 13 out of 14. I will take it. I'm a little surprised the Jaguars cut James McCourt, but you know what? The Jaguars definitely still have a kicking problem until they prove to me otherwise. Logan Cook, probably our best player. Shout out to Jamal Agnew, kick returner, punt returner yet again. Hopefully this guy can get 5+ kick returns for a touchdown. House call is going to go off this year because all my homies love Jamal Agnew. And then long snapper Ross Matisic. But really, just to wrap up this video, man, I'm definitely going to say that I am surprised that a couple of these guys didn't make the roster, especially considering the fact that Jay Tufele and Laquan Treadwell, I thought were definitely going to have some nice, solid contributions to the team this year. Laviska Shenault, you know, best of luck to you in Carolina. Not really going to address that again too, but I would like to address Deshaun Dixon and Tim Jones yet again, man. Being two undrafted rookies, the Jaguars did not sign any undrafted rookies to the 53-man roster last season. Doug Peterson is rolling with these guys. Tim Jones, I really am excited, and I'm super happy for this kid. And then with Deshaun Dixon, this guy led Norfolk State last season in the entire conference, I believe, in sacks last year, and this guy's really balled out throughout the preseason. He's really had to grind and compete alongside other edge rushers like Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen as well. Really prove his worth, and he did a great job in the preseason, especially in that Falcons game. You saw the type of impact that he was able to make, so I just want to say specifically to those two guys being undrafted guys, I'm super happy and proud of y'all. But Jaguar fans, that's it for this video. I want to say thank you guys so much for sticking around throughout the whole video. Let me know your guys' thoughts about the 53-man roster and what you guys think about the Jaguars guys that we just signed off the waiver wire, the 5 guys that we just picked up. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, man, make sure you guys drop me a thumbs up. It takes 1 second and it helps me and the channel out tremendously. And if you guys are new here, consider hitting that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more NBA, Jaguars, and of course, UCF content that I do here on YouTube now. And make sure y'all go follow me on my socials, especially on Twitter. The link tree will be in the description down below, so y'all can go check me out. I'm on there and I'm active every single day on Twitter. But thank you guys again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Brett James, aka BJ, I'm out, y'all. Go Jags, baby. Peace.